That's the SUI Sol chart. I know what I want to
Looks like
own.
it's going higher.
It's written all over that chart. And it's been written over
How-
that chart ever since it broke this downtrend, which was where we started making the big allocation change to this. And it's worked beautifully ever since. This is punks in ETH. Now, from last year, when was that? August
That is
24, when we had
wild.
that correction that started the banana zone. These things have outperformed 3 to 4x ETH. And ETH was down
Wow.
and ETH is 3x from there. So it has been the trade, really, of the cycle. It might have even outperformed SUI and stuff now. I'm not even sure. But, you know, people were saying, well, do punks and Bitcoin trade one for one? But punks are so scarce, really. And considering a bunch of these are locked up in DAOs and, you know, Yuga have a bunch, Mickey Malka has a bunch, there's very few to be able to buy. And if you want them, it's available and good. You're going to pay up for it.
Exactly. So I think punks will lead this, and then I think it will be most probably art collections over one of ones. I think you'll see X copy like editions and grifters and that sort of stuff move. And then I
Grifters
think
look
you'll
really
see
undervalued, by the way, for 666 by the most iconic artist in the history of Web3. And they're like less than 20 ETH. They're cheap.
Raoul Pal expressed optimism regarding the Layer 1 blockchain, SUI, suggesting that it is poised to enter a new phase of outperformance despite recent market corrections. Paul shared charts indicating that SUI has bottomed out within a descending channel and is finding support around $2. This analysis suggests that the cryptocurrency is poised to rally and potentially outperform other major cryptocurrencies in the near future. Paul's short-term analysis shows that SUI is approaching the bottom of its current price channel, which could signal an imminent reversal. He also offered a long-term perspective, showing that SUI is trading within a large triangle, often seen as a bullish continuation signal. This pattern suggests that SUI could continue its uptrend as the cryptocurrency market recovers. According to Paul, as Bitcoin breaks its all-time highs, SUI is expected to outperform and remain among the top 5 cryptocurrencies in terms of performance in this cycle. His recent comments on the global money supply M2 indicator suggest that Bitcoin could experience significant upside. According to Raoul Pal, Solana holders should keep an eye on SUI. Before we move forward, if you want to stay updated with the latest crypto events and news, you can subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's get back to Raoul Pal's view on Solana and the overall crypto market.
The likelihood is it's into Q2 2026. What we would look for from here is a further weakening of the dollar to give us more clarity of that, because it leads as part of financial conditions for a long basis. But probabilistically speaking, it looks like it's going to go on a lot further than people expect, just because the cycle's been extended because they kept rates so high so long. I mean, the reality is, outside of all of the noise, Trueflation is showing inflation at 1.75% and has done for the last several months. And rates are at 4.5, wherever they are. I mean, rates need to come down 200 basis points.
I find it really difficult to judge cycles anymore, and I'm not as big a believer in like the 4-year cycle. I think we're drifting away from that to more one which mimics the broader macro cycles rather than just like the halving cycles.
Right.
But yeah, at this stage, financial positions are still pretty tight. You know, like interest rates are still pretty high across the world. Like if you're looking at it from a macro standpoint, I feel like you can get very, very bullish on global liquidity going higher. There's no other route here. Like you said, the debt needs to be refinanced. We're at 4 to 5% interest rates across many different developed economies. It feels like we can run for a while.
Cryptocurrency analyst Rec Capital says that while there is much talk of the Bitcoin cycle extending into 2026, investors should not leave aside proven principles. Bitcoin could benefit from just a few months of price expansion, especially if it follows the same historical pattern of 2020, warns one cryptocurrency analyst. Recht explains that if the Bitcoin cycle follows the 2020 pattern, the market will likely peak in October, 550 days after the Bitcoin halving in April 2024. That already potentially means that there are 2 to 3 months of this bull market left, Recht stated. Recht acknowledges that many market participants have ignored the halving cycle and predict a potential cycle extension into 2026. Recht explained that analyzing new indicators is a knee-jerk reaction. It's also about emotions, and it's important not to let these cloud judgment. However, several cryptocurrency analysts believe that the classic Bitcoin halving cycle is less reliable today, given the increase in institutional adoption that was absent in previous cycles. In May, Standard Chartered predicted that Bitcoin would reach $200,000 by the end of the year, a forecast also made by wealth management firm Bernstein. Both forecasts fall short of BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes' more optimistic year-end target of $250,000. During the 2021 cryptocurrency bull market, NFTs were the center of attention. While Bitcoin broke all-time highs and several altcoins also performed exceptionally, the dominant narrative centered on NFTs. Celebrities talked about them launching their own NFT collections. Artists like Grimes earned $5.8 million in just 20 minutes, and some predicted they would change the world. Then, shockingly, they simply disappeared during the bear market and have not recovered from that cycle. Paul is one of the most influential figures in the crypto world, being one of the first to predict that Bitcoin would hit $100,000 in 2013. Paul has advised his followers to, above all else, own as much cryptocurrency as possible. He goes on to advise focusing on owning as many NFTs as possible, as he believes that art is the precursor of wealth. This cryptocurrency influencer was an early adopter of CryptoPunks, which are now fetching exorbitant prices. Despite Paul's enthusiasm for NFTs, the rest of the crypto community has remained silent on the topic this cycle. In fact, this time around, the main attraction has been meme coins. The concept of a meme coin has been around since Dogecoin's creation in 2013, but there are now millions of them, with new ones appearing daily. Bitcoin has seen a steady rise in recent years and recently reached a new all-time high. However, the NFT craze is not yet as strong as it was at the peak of the previous cycle. NFTs are far from over, but they have been quiet lately. They could make a comeback in this crypto cycle, but if they don't, they should be able to recover in the future. This is because its potential uses are multiple and could broaden the horizons of participation in many different sectors. Paul believes the current cryptocurrency market rally could be longer than expected. He suggests this cycle could deviate from conventional timeframes and potentially extend into 2026. Paul anticipates a further correction following the expected acceleration in the second quarter, leading some to believe the recovery is over. However, he emphasizes that these pullbacks are natural and that a final rally will likely occur before the cycle peaks. His outlook is based on the overall economic backdrop, where prolonged booms often translate into longer market cycles. He notes that institutional participation is stronger than ever, with major financial players increasingly participating in the digital asset sector. Regulatory clarity, growing mainstream adoption, and favorable macroeconomic factors could contribute to a longer than expected cycle, allowing Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to reach new highs before a significant downturn.